Hello, grade fours. I hope you guys are all well. Welcome to your first history lesson with me. Today we are going to cover two units of history, Unit 1 and Unit 2, and the names of those units are Who and What Are Leaders and Qualities of Good Leaders. This is going to be a very short video. However, I'm going to place a lot of emphasis on the people that I'm going to be talking about and the qualities of good leaders. Okay, so if you can see, our page over here shows some beautiful women, and some you may know and some you may not recognize at all. So we are going to talk about the leaders that we may know and leaders who might be new to you, and just the work that they've done and why they are so inspirational and why we should learn from them. Now, I think it's important to emphasize female leadership. These are strong women who have helped us and are helping us in our daily lives and in the community at large, or in the global community at large. And they are in some way making differences to all of our lives. Some of them have passed on, but they leave a legacy for us. And so now we can start by looking at the familiar faces who we may know. Now, if we look over here, we can see Miss Gordon. For those of you who aren't at our school, Miss Gordon is our executive head or principal of our school, and she leads by encouraging us teachers every day to do our best. And she is a role model for a lot of teachers to want to be a principal in the future, as she is firm in her beliefs and she delegates with a strong hand, but with a lot of compassion and humility as well. Above her, we can see Miss Strauss. Now, beautiful Miss Strauss, who is one of our favorite teachers at our school. She is the intermediate phase head or HOD. And I have learned so much from Miss Strauss, to be patient, to be kind, to be humble, to work hard. Miss Strauss has a work ethic like I have never seen before. She always tries her best, and us as teachers who work under her can learn a lot from her. And she leads with a lot of compassion and a lot of love, and always says thank you to us teachers who work under her for the work we may do. She's always there for us as a phase head or HOD or leader to turn to when we need her, and never ever has an ugly word coming out of her mouth, and we love her so much. And that is why Miss Strauss is recognized as a leader. I'm sure you guys can see me over here. The only reason I've put myself in this is because I'm a teacher. I lead my learners in the classroom. I need to be a leader in my classroom so that all my children can learn from my example as a teacher. If I need to be fair, if I need to control a certain situation, I need to remember to be fair. I need to be humble, and I need to listen as well to what my learners are saying. I need to have the qualities of a leader for my learners to follow my example and to listen to me. Now we'll move on to a few other leaders. Okay, if you look over here, we have Greta Thunberg. Okay, some of you may know her, some of you may not. Greta Thunberg is a very young environmental activist. She's a Swedish activist, and what Greta is doing is absolutely amazing for our world. She is fighting fiercely and strongly against climate change, and she spoke at a conference, and she spoke so firmly and confidently to world leaders and told them to stop destroying our environment. She has been making people aware of the trouble that our world and our earth is facing with climate change. If we look at this young lady here, we can see by looking at Greta and Sophie Cruz that leadership does not only need to be of a certain age. Leadership can be anyone and anyone and everyone at any age. Sophie Cruz is now 10 years old. However, when she was 5 years old, she met Pope Francis in Washington in America. Okay, Sophie's parents are immigrants from Mexico, and they don't actually have papers to be living in America, and they were going to get deported. So what Sophie did was she hugged Pope Francis when he came to America, and she handed him a letter. And in the letter it said, "We deserve to live here as well. I deserve to be with my family. Please, can you maybe talk to our president and ask him not to deport my parents back to Mexico and have me here alone?" So she started at a young age to, talk up for immigrants who were getting deported back to their countries. At such a young age, she has so much passion and enthusiasm for her cause, and we only wish her well on this journey. Now, if we look over here in this top right-hand corner, we have Malala Yousafzai. Okay, I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. Now, Malala is from Pakistan. Okay, Malala is an educational activist. She fought for education for women from a very young age. When she was only 15, she got attacked by the Taliban because they didn't want their females to be educated. Yet she continued her cause and she survived the attack on her, and she is now one of the greatest educational activists for females. She wants females to be educated all over the world, and she spreads her cause wherever she goes. It's sad to know that in some places in the world there are females that are illiterate, meaning they cannot read or write, and Malala is fighting for these females. If we look down here, we have Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama is former President Barack Obama's wife. Now, Michelle is a strong leader in our community or in our global community because she has been an advocate and an activist for poverty. She is spreading awareness on the problem of poverty as well as healthy eating habits, and she is definitely someone that we can look up to. We can see by her example how she is looking after the poverty situation wherever she goes, and she's spreading more and more awareness for people to do something about the poverty, as well as eating healthy and exercising. So she has a few tasks on her hands. If we look at this lovely lady over here, we have our darling late Mother Teresa. And I say late because for those of you who don't know, she passed away many years ago. Now, Mother Teresa was named a saint in 2016 by a Catholic Church. She dedicated and devoted her life to looking after the orphans and the poor people, the poorest of the poor people in Calcutta. Now, Calcutta is a place in India. So she looked after all the people in the slums, and she was also a teacher, believe it or not. And she taught and she looked after them and devoted her life in their service. So as you can see, grade 4s, leadership can be either male or female, but we have some really strong female leaders to look up to. They are of all ages, as you can see from Sophie, who was only 5 years old, to Mother Teresa, who was very old when she had passed away. So leaders can be of any age, of any gender, of any race. Okay? So I hope you take all of this information in, and we can continue to the next page. Okay, what are leaders? Now, if you look at your textbook on page 114, we can see that the two definitions it gives us is people who listen, who others listen to rather, and follow for different reasons. Leaders are not always famous people. Ordinary people can be leaders too. Okay, now yes, people listen to these people and they follow them for different reasons. However, leaders need to have qualities as well. They need to have good qualities for people to look up to them. They need to be role models. So one of them would be they need to be confident. They need to have confidence. If a leader does not have confidence, people will not always believe what they say or believe the message that the leader is trying to get across. They need to have humility. A leader cannot think that they are better than the rest. A leader cannot put anyone down. They need to be humble. They need to have a lot of humility in order to lead people. They need to be honest. Leaders need to have honesty. Okay, they cannot be lying all the time. They cannot be lying at all, in fact. And they need to have integrity. They need to stand for what is right no matter what. They need to have kindness and compassion. They need to lead with love and respect for others. They need to be kind. They cannot be selfish with whatever they do. They need to be fair and just. They cannot have one-sided decisions. They cannot make one-sided decisions, rather. They need to be fair. They need to be dedicated and motivated. They need to have passion towards their cause. They need to be dedicated to what they are leading for. Okay? They need to be motivated as well to lead. They cannot be leading if they don't have full motivation in themselves to want to go ahead with anything. They need to put others first. Okay, they need to put others first and listen to what other people have to say. They need to listen to their people who are following them. They need to think of the feelings of the people who are following them. They need to listen to the ideas of others. Yes, they have to make the final decision as leaders. However, they need to understand where their followers are coming from. Okay. Now, I told you this was going to be a very short, it didn't seem very short, but my explanation was long. However, you need to think of yourself as a leader as well. Are you maybe a leader? Are you a class captain? Are you a leader of your sports team at school? Do you maybe know a leader who is maybe you have another captain of your soccer team that you may look up to? Do you respect that person? I want you to think about all the things that I have said. And then you are going to do the activity on page 114. I know it says work in pairs. However, you guys are at home alone. Maybe have a discussion with your brother or sister or your parents, and you're going to complete the activity on page 114. And you are going to read all the information on the other leaders that are spoken about on page 114, 115, and 116. And then please, will you do the activity on page 116 as well? Okay, these are very short activities, very easy activities. When you are done with that, grade 4s, in the workbook that was emailed to your parents when school closed, there are worksheets of on leadership and leaders that was emailed along with it. Go through it, read it, and understand the work that is in there. It's for you to understand and complete activities where they are. Thanks, guys. Until my next video. Bye.